Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for February 10, 2022, the Going to War edition. We begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Richard Vanderford reporting. There is a court case involving Merck, and its insurers over a cyber attack which occurred in 2017, where the insurance company said that the cyber attack was, quote, a virtual cyber nuclear attack, end quote. This led the insurer to deny coverage based upon the War-like Act, which is not covered by insurance. Interestingly, that has changed, and now that is written as a policy exclusion. But this happened in 2017, and the insurer is trying to get out of paying. Because of the change in the policy, it's probably going to be hard, but policy language changed, but it's going to be hard. But nevertheless, it's a $1.4 billion claim, so you can see why it's worth it. Next up, remember Southwest and its disastrous performance over the Christmas holidays? Well, Southwest claims that disastrous performance, unlike any other airline in the United States, was caused by bad weather, completely denying that their 1990s IT infrastructure had a part of the problem. But the pilots say, no, it was really you guys and your penny-pinching, idiotic failures to bring the tech system up to date. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out when your own employees say, no, you did it. And the company says, oh, no, we didn't do it. It wasn't our fault. We couldn't have planned for it. It was just bad weather. Next up, from the Fifth Circuit, or rather from Law 360, a Fifth Circuit case which reinstituted bribery charges against 2 foreign individuals. What's interesting about this is the foreigners were never inside the United States. They've never touched U.S. jurisdiction. They never did any work in the United States. They never did any work which touched the United States. Nevertheless, the Fifth Circuit said that you can bring charges against them under the FCPA. That was different, obviously, than the trial court, who had dismissed these charges against 2 Swiss citizens. And our final story comes to us today from the Miami Herald, who says that the fight against corruption in Latin America needs to begin in elementary school. I thought this was a great insight that if you can start teaching kids that corruption is bad, maybe they won't grow up to be briberies and corruptors. On the other hand, they could also buy being a compliance officer is awesome and find out why. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.